Good morning, everyone. Hope this finds you well. So I spoke last week about capacity. I talked about the idea that the more we're given, the more we have capacity for good or for evil. It's the same thing with money. The more you're given, what you choose to do with that is on you. And with that in mind, I wanted to talk this morning about the parable of the talents. It's in Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30. I'm not going to read it all today. I'll just do a quick overview. But you have Jesus telling this parable of a master who gives varying levels of talents to his servants. And one of them invests and reaps more, and one of them chooses to invest more conservatively and gets a little bit more back, and one chooses to just bury his talent in the ground and keep it for safekeeping until the master returns. And the master honors those that were able to multiply his investment, and he rejects the one that didn't multiply, that chose to just do what was safe, chose to just bury it in the ground. And it's easy to look at that passage, at that parable, and say, well, what's the big deal? He kept the money safe. He did what he needed to do, but the reality is that's not what this is about. See, it's not even about money itself. It's about what we're given by God, what our talents and treasures, and what we are equipped in by God. It's easy to look at the people who speak. It's easy to look at teachers, musicians that go up and lead worship so incredibly. It's easy to look at people that are doctors or even people that work with youth, and that they have these highly visible gifts that God's given them. And it's easy to look at them and say, well, obviously they're using theirs for the kingdom. But we're all given gifts, even the lowest among us, that are the people that we look at ourselves and we say, well, what I do isn't for the kingdom necessarily, but we all have passions, we all have talents, we all have abilities, we all have these things, and we have this tendency to look at our talent and say, well, it's not good, it's not what anyone else is, so I'm just gonna kind of bury that. I'm gonna keep that to myself. And when I talk about capacity, we take that and we say, well, I'm not gonna do much with it, so that I don't mess it up, so that I don't do harm with it, so I don't mess it up at all. And Jesus is clearly laying out here that what we're called to do at an individual level is go out and multiply our talents. There is no one that gets to say, well, I'm not the guy. I'm gonna support my church, I'm gonna support a group that's going to actually do the work, but I'm not a doer. I'm not somebody who actually gets on the front lines of something. No one has that excuse. You've been given talents. Use them and go use them for good. Multiply those talents. That's going to be the message this morning. I'll close with a prayer. Lord, sometimes I'm selfish and afraid, unwilling to share the gifts you have so generously bestowed upon me. I list excuses for why I can't or won't use what I've been given. I know this grieves you. I know that you want me to lavish my gifts on others, and yet still I often refuse. Lord, I'm grateful for the gifts you personally chosen for me. Please give me the courage and strength to invest my gifts to grow your kingdom as you so desire. I yearn to be like the first and second servants of the story, eager to use well what I've been given. Amen. Have a great day.